Hello, I'm Bruce Merrifield, and if you watch all of the modules in this series, you're going to be sick of me by the time I finish. But I did want to start you off with a little bit of a pep talk. What I am going to try to do through this video series, all these modules, is I'm going to try to turn you on to the great game of business. You know, we all play games for fun, but I have to tell you, if you know the rules, the strategies, and how to keep score of the business game, and you know what's in it for you, there's not a better game out there. You know, if you think of all the golf addicts you know, business addicts put those guys to shame. So in my first slide here, I want to show you some of the things we're going to touch upon. First of all, I want to review a lot of sort of assumptions and guidelines about what makes great companies great. So if you understand the success rules, then you know that, hey, you could win too. But to go from wherever we are as a company to wherever we want to be, we need certain strategies for improvement. It's not easy to say, okay, I want to go from being a hack to a world-class athlete, for example, either in sports or business. So we need a lot of strategies that can help us do that. Along the way, we're going to need a lot of data to know how we're doing, how we're progressing, and so forth, which makes the company a lot more fun place. Because if you don't get feedback for how not just your department's doing, but the processes that cut through your department, how your profit center's doing, how your whole company is doing, and how it's improving, it becomes a very interesting situation. It's also important to know what has to be done to make the company a very safe, interesting, exciting learning environment. Because a lot of learning isn't so much fun. You know, you try something, you make a mistake, and you get chewed out for it. That can't be. We've got to figure out how to change that. And modules will follow that will do that for you. But I suppose the thing that you might really want to dwell on or think about is, if you live in a major city and you have professional sports teams, you know how excited the city gets when the team makes the finals of, baseball, the World Series, or the NBA, or they're going for the Stanley Cup in hockey, Super Bowl. People go nuts. But in retrospect, I think it's sort of sad that there's so many adults. They're winning, they're just living and dying for 50, 60 years, hoping their team is going to make it to the Super Bowl, and they're excited just because these guys happen to have their city's name on their jerseys. And we're not on the team, and we're not getting paid Super Bowl bonuses or getting rings. But every day, you are on a team at your company, and if your company could become a championship team, the best at what it does, so you have high growth, high profitability, you have maximum wages for what you're doing, you've got bragging rights. That's like being on a world championship team every day and enjoying the fruits of that too. So that's kind of what it's all about. We want to try to figure out how to get to that space and that reality. Now, to do it, we've got to bring along all the stakeholders in the business. So I want to introduce you to an idea called stakeholder symmetry or balance. And it turns out that in every business, there are at least 4 stakeholders, groups. These are people who have a vested interest in how well the company does. So for example, one group are employees. They say, I'm concerned about the company because I want job security, I want job growth, I want premium wages for what I'm doing, I like good benefits, I like a little educational stimulation. There's a lot of stuff I hope I could get out of the company. It's sort of my dream machine, or I wish it was anyway. Then there are customers, and customers are saying, I need reliable service. I've got to get stuff when I need it. If I don't, my place shuts down. Downtime, critical problems happen. I'm dependent on not only that great service, but I want the best economic value I can get because I need to make a buck over here, and I can't be overpaying for lousy service. Another group are suppliers. They're dying to sell the company more stuff, but they also want to be paid on time. And you can't buy more stuff from them if you don't grow faster in the industry, and you can't pay them on time if the company doesn't make dough, put it back in the business to have the working capital, pay the suppliers back. And lastly, and not least, they're the shareholders. They've put a lot of money over time into the company, and they'd like a return on their investment for that. So everybody is saying, I want more, and in the middle is this tiny little thing called profit after tax, which you will learn through this video, if you didn't know already, is minuscule in most of your companies. And so if any one stakeholder says, I want more, but I don't want to put something in, the profit after tax diminishes and the whole game shuts down for everybody. Because if there's no company, every one of these stakeholders has lost something. So the trick is, how do we take care of this company, which is a commonwealth system for all stakeholders, and not fight over a static little profit pie, but how do we figure out how to grow the whole ecosystem they're part of in a much more productive, profitable way so all stakeholders can get premium returns on investment. If you doubt that this can happen, just think about Federal Express and UPS. You know, UPS is a company that went from nothing back in 1911 to $40 billion in sales or whatever it is today, and for most of that time it was a privately held business. So it was able to make so much money, profit after tax, it was able to buy fleets of trucks and jets and distribution centers. They financed all of that with profits made in the business, reinvested back in there. If you look at the employees, they do great. Nobody gets paid better wages than UPS employees, and they got their pride. They work for the tightest ship in the industry, and you don't see a lot of turnover from those jobs. And the customers love them. Gosh, there are distribution companies out there that make small and precious products per pound. They ship 100% of their product via UPS. If UPS goes down, it's a national emergency because they give such reliable service at affordable prices, we can't afford not to use them. And of course, if you were a supplier to UPS, if they grow from 0 to 40 billion, would you like that truck account? Wouldn't you like that gasoline account? Wouldn't you like that shipping product label printing sort of business? I mean, all the suppliers to UPS have loved it. McDonald's is the same story. If you go and look at the rocket ride they were all through the 60s and 70s and 80s, boy, there were a lot of stakeholders that did just fabulously off that company. So there are service businesses out there that have figured out how to rethink the whole ecosystem they're part of to make it a high-performance ecosystem that feeds all the shareholders, or stakeholders, I should say, in a very generous manner. This next slide sort of shows the flow of the modules that you're going to go through. Module 2 has about a dozen, or Section 2 has about a dozen modules in it, and they're pretty much about the ABCs of capitalism and the ABCs of financial management and how to be financially literate and understand the numbers and what they mean and why they got to be better and so forth. In Section 3, I go into a lot of high-performance assumptions. In other words, 90% of all the distribution companies out there are not doing so well. In fact, the top 10% are doing about 5 to 6 times better. And trust me, the employees of those places aren't working 5 to 6 times harder. It's just a smarter, better situation. So what are the secrets of the high performers as far as their assumptions about who to sell and how to sell them and how do you create basic service brilliance, etc. When we get to Section 4, all those modules are about basically defining, measuring, achieving, selling, getting paid for, leveraging perfect service. Because everybody says, sure, 0 errors, 100% on-time delivery, highest fill rates around, those are nice things. They're not easy to achieve. If they were, everybody do them. So that's a very how-to section. And then we get to Section 5, I offer a number of ideas that will help you learn how to learn and keep your progress going. Because when you go from one situation to another, there are a lot of ways that you could get knocked off the path of the road, and you want to stay on the road. So I'm going to give you a lot of tools there to keep you on the road to a higher performing business situation where all stakeholders are going to win. Another organizing model is what I call the 5 strategic steps. There are a number of modules that address Roman numeral 1, where we're saying, let's not just hire achievers, let's find the hidden achievers that are already on the payroll and help them turn on by creating a high-performance environment that not only attracts them and keeps them, but induces people to turn on and get excited and be all that they can be. If we can do that, then we can make basic service brilliance and extra services as needed happen, which is our ticket for going out and partnering the very best customers who themselves are growing faster than their industries, more profitably so, because if we hook up to them, they'll grow us and pay their bills on time, which is a good thing to do. If we can make 1, 2, and 3 happen, then we'll be able to have the extra time and talent and treasure and credibility with our business partners, suppliers, customers, to make new living edge, leading edge kinds of things happen, because they're going to come to us first because we're the paragon, we're the best player out there. And if these things happen, then we can have a sustainable growth story for a long, long time. So in summary, there's a lot of educational stuff ahead. And I just have to ask basically for a commitment from you. If you give me the patience and perseverance to get through this and digest it and talk about it and review it, then I think I'll guarantee that you will be able as a team to go out there and make significant new breakthrough things happen for where you're working and turn the game of business into a wonderfully productive, profitable, and fun experience for everybody at the company. Thanks.